Texas Podcast Massacre contains spoilers and adult language. For more horror, visit us at our website at texaspodcastmassacre.com.
Welcome to another episode of Texas Podcast Massacre, coming to you from Houston, Texas. I'm your host, Mitch, and with me, as always, for the 200th time is my co-host, Nate.
They're eating her, and then they're going to eat me. Oh, my God!
And also with us, our very own Queen of Goblins, Lisa.
Oh, that's a title bump.
That's a compliment?
Queen?
That's yeah.
Of goblins?
I mean,
all right.
Queen?
Yeah, royalty's royalty, you know.
Is it though? Is it?
It's like in the land of the blind, the man with one eye is king. Like in the land of the goblins, like anyone who's not terrible is queen. Like, so you're just like queen by default because you're so much better than them. Like, it's not even close.
I think you just made it worse, Nate.
Oh,
Mayor of Nilbog.
Making things worse for 200 episodes. That's
my whole strategy. All right.
Oh, my goodness. Welcome, one and all, to our 200th episode, our 200th spectacular. Can't believe we've done 200 episodes. Lisa really can't believe we've done 200 episodes.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
It's a lot of horror movies you've been subjected to over the years. It just feels, I mean, for us, it feels like just yesterday we started this podcast. For you,
hold on a second. Wait, what? Just yesterday, Mitch was pitching me at a funeral about a horror podcast, and here we are. So
I pitched the idea to you on the way to the camping trip first. You declined, then I came back at the funeral. I just want the story straight. The funeral, I'm admitting the funeral part, but don't act like it just like I'm at a funeral. Like, oh, got this crazy idea. No, I just hadn't talked to you in between. It just happened.
Oh,
wasn't like it doesn't matter.
But anyway, Lisa, so your thoughts on 200 episodes. What do you feel?
It's been almost 4 years that we've been doing this.
Yes.
That's way too freaking long.
It's way too long.
Yes.
What would have been the optimal amount of episodes for you? Like a 6-part miniseries kind of a deal?
I would have been okay with 20.
Okay, like a tight, like one TV,
tight 20,
like one TV like season worth.
Yeah.
Okay,
that would have been fine.
Well, yeah. I mean, early on, Lisa was only really ever going to be just on a couple episodes, just a reoccurring unsuspecting victim. But tested so well with our target demographic.
Nice,
no, but I think everyone has enjoyed hearing you on the show, Lisa. So we're glad you stuck around for all 200 episodes.
So this is my retirement episode.
No, but
no,
we're just happy you've been here so far.
It's like you get to spend $50 and invite 10 people to a work party commemorating your 200 episodes. Like that's what you get, not a retirement. It's like you get a little pin and then like that's it. And you get like some Schlotsky's subs. That's all.
Ooh, Schlotsky's. That's
Okay, hold on. Is that a plus? We do Schlotsky. We'll do Schlotsky's.
I mean, hey, it's you don't get Schlotsky's every day. That's sometimes.
All right. Well, that's like Mitch's
200 episodes and I get Schlotsky's. I swear.
This episode's sponsored by Schlotsky.
Would you prefer some Nilbog milk?
If you think Lisa deserves a better 200 celebration lunch, please tweet us, email us.
Yeah. Let us know.
Leave a voicemail.
I mean,
send help. Send help
Send
kind of
help.
message. Like blink 4 times.
Send help.
Blink 4 times if you need someone to come rescue you.
No. Nate, what so just talking about the
Can't tell if it was 4 or 100. Rescue
I'm
me
desperate.
25 times.
I'm
Oh my
desperate.
God. So thinking back over the last 200 episodes, anything that stands out to you, any fond memories or moments? I think for me, certainly, I've gotten a greater appreciation of Nate's love of Leprechaun. While my own love of Leprechaun hasn't gone through. We've had some fun drinking episodes. I think, Birdemic. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that right? Who would have thought that Birdemic would have been such a fun drunk ride? We've seen some shit that I never knew existed. So it's been it's been a blast just for me just to get to have an opportunity to watch a bunch of movies that I probably would have passed on multiple times.
Yeah.
But it's also been fun. Part of why we started this podcast was because one of the things I think, Nate, you and I really love is sharing these both good and terrible movies with people we love. And so having our friends on the show doing this, having our special guests, having folks getting to meet Kev Cass, getting to meet Mike Wright, Drew Yari, having some of these folks on the show has been really cool. It's been awesome. I've enjoyed these 200 episodes and looking forward to 200 more. Unless Lisa kills me before then. and then it's Texas podcast Massacre : Mitch Morium. Yeah.
And then I keep the podcast going in an ever it's like the flame that never goes out. Like that's what the podcast becomes. Like, so think about it this way, Lisa. If you kill Mitch, he becomes even stronger. It's like the Obi-Wan Kenobi.
If you strike me down.
Yeah. The podcast becomes more powerful.
Oh, goodness.
So we took that avenue away.
Nate, what about you? Thinking about these last 200 episodes.
It's crazy because I get to look at the podcast stats for who is who's downloading and where they're from. And the sheer amount of just countries that, sometimes not a ton, but who are the people in Indonesia downloading our podcast? I have no clue, but they're there. There's just people from all over. We've had fans, write us emails and messages and stuff from all over the world, which is kind of cool.
Yep.
So I love that quite a bit. The 2 people in Algeria who download our podcast, thanks for that. I'm just looking all over Ethiopia, South Africa, Iran. I'm not even sure we're allowed in Iran, but apparently there's.
We're probably more allowed in Iran more than we are in Idaho, thanks to your comments over the years.
Yeah, I need to look at I haven't looked at the Idaho stats in a while. Hold on. Oh God, it's going up. No.
Oh no, yeah.
No, Ida, no. Get out of here. Stop it.
Ida, go away.
Doing it to spite you.
That jumped up dramatically since the last time I looked. Wow.
Ooh.
Anyway, it's awesome. And so many people have reached out and just hey, your dumb podcast, I think, is making my day a little bit better. And I think you guys are cool and you're not dumb. Even though when we started this podcast, we were sitting around on your kitchen table with 3 mics that were way too low. And we had just gone to see Alien Covenant. And from there to have actually listen to us is pretty awesome. So I'm down for all of that.
How many math textbooks did we have to use for your science
there was
books to load up?
C programming on top of something else. There was 4 books to get this little tiny 3-inch little stand, or 2-inch stand that a mic on it, up to someone's face. Yeah.
Still one of the best movies we've done.
Which one?
Alien Covenant.
Alien Covenant.
Wow. Okay.
So Lisa,
wow.
So thinking back to over 200 episodes now, probably unfairly, we've given you credit. You've gotten criticism over some of your early reviews because you were early on. Are there any? So what were some of the favorite movies that you never would have watched if it weren't for the podcast that you ended up enjoying?
Ooh, surprises. Yeah.
But then also, are there ones that now thinking retroactively, would you go back on? Like, would you want to watch them again? I'm curious if there's any that have like a replay value to you.
Oh, that's.
Even just revisit for a better score, you know?
I'm not changing the Omen, Nate, so you can let that go.
I know. I made peace. I made peace with it. I made peace with it for sure.
I mean, the Alien series, I could see rewatching.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All of those are good. The Halloween series is all right. I feel like I always end up watching those in October anyway.
Always surprised me how much.
Yeah,
of a
I don't know.
Saw
The
fan
surprising.
you were.
Yeah, I actually did like them. They were some of the ones that did the twists better than I thought they would have. So.
All right. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I mean, obviously things I never would have watched and I regret watching, you know, Thanksgiving. What's the one that Nate loves with Plasterface?
Tourist Trap.
Tourist Trap. Never.
There is an uncut version of Tourist Trap. We should definitely circle back.
You can say this.
Fixes the whole movie for you, I bet.
Sure. Maybe
You bet, huh?
8 years ago, maybe we were having a Halloween party and someone, probably Nate, said, "Hey, we should watch this movie called Troll 2."
It's definitely me.
And I watched like 10 minutes of it. And then I said, you know what? I'm in my own house. I'm going to bed. And I never, until today, watched that entire movie.
Wow. Okay.
And
you dodged it. You really were.
I hate
Matrix
you.
like bullet.
Oh yeah. Okay. Look, we got so much to get to. We've saved this movie for a special occasion because this is certainly one of when we talk about why we started this podcast and how we used to talk about our friends. I mean, Troll 2 was one of the films. Although I seem to recall you and our unsuspecting victim Derek talking a lot about Tiptoes a lot at parties, like inordinate amount of movie about Tiptoes.
So
I
was gonna give I'm gonna give a top list, like a top 5 list here. Top 5 movies that are bad that you have to show other people. Troll 2, right up there. We'll talk about it. It's great. The Room, obviously, is another one. Tammy and the T-Rex, previous episode.
Incredible.
Or Tanny and the T-Rex, if you will. Go back and listen to that episode because they don't know how to spell. Miami Connection. I don't know if you've ever seen Miami Connection. I don't know if I've made you guys watch this one yet. It's kind of like Troll 2, and that's called Miami Connection, and it doesn't take place in Miami. It takes place in Orlando. So it's very similar in that way. And then the 5th one is Tiptoes. Tiptoes being the only one in that group, which is like a big budget film. Matthew McConaughey's in there, Lisa. Kate Beckinsale, Gary Oldman, Peter Dinklage, Patricia Arquette. You got about like 3 or 4 Oscars between the cast of this movie, and yet it is it's so good. It's so terrible.
I've been down to watch Tiptoes for a long time. It just has never made it onto the list. So
it's not really a horror movie, but I could spin it. I could spin it enough, no problem. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So those are my top 5, Mitch. Thanks.
You mentioned Tiptoes, and I just kept that Tiptoe Through the Tulip song in my head the whole time.
No,
very similar. It's in the movie.
No.
I won't do it. I want to. It's very hard to keep it bottled up, but I'm doing it. All right. Well, look, we need to get into it. And we're gonna do a little bit something different. Not a debate question this time. This is the 200th episode. We got to do something.
Yeah, of course. Troll 200.
Special. So let's do a little bit of a mailbag. So we put out we set up a voicemail. We also got some questions in. So we've only got a little bit for a few because there's so much about Troll 2 we need to get into, and this episode can easily go like 4 hours.
No, that's okay. We can skip Troll 2 and do a full episode of Mailbag. That's fine with me.
Yeah, she wants to do a Troll 2-minute drill.
So we've got a few of them, but we're going to leave that voicemail hotline open. So every week, call and leave a voicemail, and we'll probably feature it on the show. Let's get into the first voicemail that we have here.
Hey, Mitch, Nate, and Lisa. This is Victor. I just want to say just thank you guys for everything you do. Love the podcast. All three of you are so awesome. And I'm sorry, Mitch, but Team Basement all the way, man. All right. Bye, guys.
You don't sound sorry, Victor. You sound anything but, an apology not accepted.
Wow. All right. Well, let me take over on this. Thank you for choosing correctly. No, Victor. Yeah, Victor's been one of the early listeners and very nice people to us on the podcast. So appreciate the voicemail. Team Basement all the way. I don't even know what else to say. It's perfect. It can't get any better. Is that it? Are we going to end on that? Just Team Basement for the win?
No.
Nothing else needs to be said.
No.
Lisa, look at Lisa. Lisa was ready with Jack, and then people were like, "Hey, Lisa's amazing." She's like, "Hold on a second. Maybe I can stay in on this for a little."
All right.
Well, let's
200 more episodes.
So let's follow up on that. So we have 200. You heard it here. 200.
That's a blood pact. Like that is unstoppable.
Yeah, that is. You said that on the Stonehenge. It's a sealed deal now. So, okay, well, piling on that, I mean, Lisa, we got a mailbag question in that's specifically for you. Nate, you and I are allowed to chime in, but I'm pretty sure we were put in as like an afterthought. Like, I mean, y'all can too, I guess, but this is really more for Lisa. Lisa, as our unsuspecting victim, obviously, we love hearing your insight. As just what you call an oh no, as in you would never do this, you'd nope out. So I'm going to give you two movies, and you tell me which movie scenario you would rather be in. Either by you think as the victim, you think you'd have the best chance of surviving, right? And this is a pretty good pick. So there's 5 of them. So we'll go here. First one: Rosemary's Baby or Candyman.
Wait, so what am I supposed to be doing?
So you're like the main the final girl, the victim in one of these movies. So I guess in this one you're either Rosemary's Baby or you're the the investigative journalist in Candyman. Who would you rather be?
Probably Rosemary.
Oh,
that is the opposite of what
I was not going to guess that. Okay, why? Any reason why? Just
because I didn't watch Candyman.
Well, that is. Oh my!
So I don't actually know what scenario the investigative journalist gets into.
Well, Candyman is a pretty rough setup too.
Candyman is coming out. The new one is, so maybe we'll revisit it. Watch after Jordan Peele's new one. All right, next one. The Hills Have Eyes. So this is trapped in the mountains in the desert, and mutant freaks are coming after you. Or Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
What are these
family? these two families.
Choices.
Two families with some strange ass people going after you.
Which one do you think you'd survive?
It's Texas Podcast Massacre because that was literally filmed in Austin. I think I could find my way out.
You're giving it the hometown rules, is what you're saying.
You have the home field. You have the home
field advantage. Yeah.
Okay.
That's as good a reason as any. That's good. All right. Now this one, you saw one, did not see the other one. The Platform or Crawl. Crawl was a girl who was in a subspace, like a basement.
Crawl space.
Basement. That's crawl space is a Florida basement. That's all. Let's just call it what it is.
No.
But there's an alligator. There's monstrous alligators there during a Florida hurricane. So Platform or Crawl.
No, this is very different scenarios.
This one's a tough one, truthfully.
Probably crawl.
Oh,
What's your swimming ability?
Platform. The platform to me just seems like there's zero chance of getting out. Like you're stuck. It's over. You're done for. The crawl, at least, I know I didn't see it, but I feel like maybe there's a way out.
it's a duration question. Could you handle a long? Is it it's like a sprint versus a marathon, right? Could you handle being in the platform for months and months and months, or do you take the gamble of like maybe I can get to high road super quick and avoid it? Okay.
And the dog survival rate much better in crawl than the platform. So.
Why?
Plus,
Why,
I don't
Nate?
have one of those. Oh, I wish I had looked it up. I don't have one of the fancy knives. So,
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
Loose.
right. Yeah, you get to bring
Loose.
in your one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. This one, I think you've seen both. So we have A Quiet Place or Bird Box. So would you rather not see or not
sound versus sight?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is a no-brainer.
I feel like I'm a pretty quiet person. I feel like I could survive a quiet place. But it would be really hard not to see.
Every parent of a
because
small child wants a quiet place.
Hey, part
It would
two's
be
coming
really
out,
hard not
that
to
long.
see because Mitch knows I trip over everything even when I can see. So I wouldn't
you just
last long.
fall into the monster's mouth. Like at that point, you're just like,
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah,
That's
Bird
what would
Box
happen.
is impossible. Not seeing that would be there's no way for me.
I think a quiet place. I agree. A quiet place would be the more survivable of the two. Although wouldn't that suck if like you step over like a Thomas the Train and that's the last thing you hear before a monster just like gobbles you up. Anyway, all right. Last one's the Ari Aster special: Midsommar or Hereditary. Would you prefer to be the victim in beautiful sunny Sweden, or part of a crazy ass cult in Hereditary?
Pie is your mom, or
Not PIE, sadly. When I was, as a larger dude, Pie Man was like, "Oh, Pie Man sounds great. I'm down for that. How do I sign up for that one?" not
that is a great alternate title. I've been watching a lot of Godzilla recently, and so all the obviously there's the Japanese title and the US title. I can imagine the Japanese title being Pie Man over in Japan for Paimon here. That would be amazing. So which one? Yeah, at least Midsommar
I haven't
or Hereditary?
seen either. I managed to avoid both of them.
That's right.
I think I know the endings to both of them though, so I'd probably say Midsommar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she seems happy in the end, even if it's a brainwashed happy.
Brainwashed happy is better than at least you have a brain at that point.
Oh.
Exactly.
Depending which character you are in Hereditary. Jesus.
Agreed. All right. Well, we got some more questions, but let's do another voicemail real quick. This one, let's see. Here we go.
Well, first of all, Nate made me watch Troll 2. Not to be confused with Trolls 2, which had cute animated trolls. The trolls in this movie have troll masks that wouldn't win any special effects awards, let's just say. There are so many ridiculous scenes in this movie, and the acting is bad. What is with the daughter pumping iron in her leotard in one of the early scenes, and then her mom looking in her room at her and just smiling? So bizarre. Also, who thinks food with green gooey slime on it looks appetizing? And then the boy has to urinate on the food and table to get them not to eat it? Wow, talk about thinking outside the box. But the pièce de résistance is the scene with the popcorn in the trailer. I mean, what else can you say after that?
What else can you say?
What else
can you say?
Thanks, Mom. That was my mom.
I think he was thinking outside the pants when he was trying to, I want to address every one of those. We're going to save that. I may have to replay that drop later because a lot of great salient points there.
My mom watched this movie, I don't know, 6 years ago.
I mean,
she watched that. So
Lisa, imagine Nate's mom watches this because she just loves her son, not because she's also on the podcast or anything. Can you imagine? Could you imagine little Damien coming up wanting to ask you to watch Troll 2 with him?
Yeah, and the problem is I know exactly how she feels and I would watch it.
Nate's mom travels down to visit him, and his idea of spending time with her is, oh, hey, why don't you watch Tammy and the T-Rex, Troll 2, and Tourist Trap with me? Those seems like great.
I don't think she's seen Tourist Trap, actually.
Oh, well, still time, Nate.
She's seen that
still
one
time. There you go. Nate's mom thanks so much.
The popcorn scene. I think I remember when we watched it. I rewound that. I'm like, she was like, "This is what is we got to see this again because I don't understand." And then you watch it again, you're like, "I still don't understand." It's perfect.
Nate had a lot of bizarre questions for his teacher in his health class, like the sex ed portion of his health class. So wait, what do you use the popcorn for?
I grew up in a kind of a rural Indiana place. So I mean, I think there was probably a lot of corn play. I never thought I'd use that word. Anyway, again, thanks, Mom. For that one.
All right, so we've got a couple extra questions. Well, first we'll start. So many thanks to the Texas Podcast Massacre crew. I've been following you guys for the last 2+ years. I was trying to find a good horror podcast then and got hooked to y'all and have listened to every new episode weekly ever since. Truly something I look forward to every Wednesday. Can't wait for Attic versus Basement month this year, which someone responded on someone was mentioned on YouTube. They said when we had our versus month, like, so when's the Attic versus Basement episode?
That's the real versus. That's the all-time one. Yes.
Hope y'all get the guy without legs with the shotgun on his lap on the podcast someday. I'm not driving down to that part of Louisiana to find him.
That guy is not living anymore. Can I just say, this is a story. First of all, that is so specific of a story to remember. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That is amazing that was remembered. That was Mitch getting lost in kind of a rural deliverance, Louisiana scenario. And then a guy, he goes up on some property, like on the edge of the property. Guy, no legs, shotgun, 4-wheeler, right?
Yeah.
Just rolls up and is like, go this way. Mitch drove the other direction.
And again, that's why I say you can learn survival tips from all horror movies. Because what happens in Texas Chainsaw Massacre? They ask the gas station attendant. He says, "Oh yeah, go that way. It's a few miles up." No, that's the wrong answer. You go the opposite way.
Louisiana Mitch Massacre not happening this time.
That's right.
All right, Mitch. So another question from that same one is, this is a you question for sure. What is the most horrifying song you've heard? You were into some real weird horror bands, like horror-based bands. Like, hey Nate, listen to this album. It's this whole album is cool. Every song's about a different serial killer. I'm gonna pass on that. But Mitch is all into that. So this is a you question. I'm not even gonna attempt. There's. But what are some of the songs and ridiculous bands and like then the music video, like they all have black eyes and stuff. I don't even remember.
So there's. I mean,
was it an elevator? You had a lot of stuff.
Okay, so that's Skinned. Yeah. So that's SKYND. That's the one that does like they do every song is about a true crime. So their latest song was on Columbine. I know you're a fan of that, Nate.
Oh my god!
Yeah, Nate hates
so
this.
Not up my alley. Right,
so I always bring it up to him because I know it bothers him.
Are they pro or against?
They're not anything. It's
god. You can't even answer with against. That's not good.
Well, I mean, they're clearly like against, but they're also. I mean, they're. I don't know. It's just about exploring the dark side of people. I don't know. It's
okay.
They're not really taking a stance. I guess I'll put it that way. I mean, because that's not the point of what they're going for.
Sure. Okay.
Now, if you want to talk, so there's two ways to answer this question. If you want to talk music videos, the actual scariest, creepiest music video I've ever seen was actually from a Japanese band called Deer and Gray. The video is called Obscure. And it's got like weird ass geishas and snake monsters and all sorts of crazy ass shit. Now I love Dir en Grey. That's like one of my all-time favorite bands.
Spell this band name.
So it's 3 words: DIR space EN space GREY.
Okay.
They are a very influential Japanese rock band. One of my all-time favorites. Yeah, that is, and Obscure is one of their like creepiest video. They got a lot of stuff. They're great musicians. I think as a kid, I probably would have told you 9 Inch Nails Closer was really creepy as a kid. I've grown to like it obviously as an adult, but yeah, the video itself creeped the shit out of me when I was like little and it was on MTV. Same thing with Sweet Dreams by Manson. Those are just very like Nightmare Fuel-esque. But if you're asking me the actual scariest song, like the song, man, I don't know what song would actually scares me. Now he mentions Mudvayne Dig.
That's because of the video. And that I remember that video.
The video is just them in a big white like void.
No, but it was like they had like the weird. They had like the weird like. I don't remember a white void. I thought it was like their faces were all there coming out of like water or something. I think it's something different.
I don't know. The one I'm thinking of, the song actually probably is another Mudvayne song, and it's about a serial killer. It's called Nothing to Gain, GEIN.
Oh my god!
It's a take on Ed Gein stuff. It's very good. Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot. I mean, anything by Mushroom Head is pretty spooky. Some of the best, more modern videos and songs are obviously Spirit Box. The songs themselves aren't necessarily scary, but the music video imagery is pretty terrifying. Particularly for like, I mean, if you love, we just talked about Hereditary and Midsommar. If you love Midsommar, you would love the Spirit Box video for Holy Roller. I mean, it's practically a straight Ari Aster ripoff in a great way. So that's a very long-winded answer. Amongst all of that rambling was songs.
Unfortunately, I'm watching the Mudvayne Dig video, and we are both right. It's half of it is in the white thing with the guy with the red face with like all the black things coming out of it, and the other part is like this is liquid just dropping on this dude.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So we're both right. Yes, that video is nuts. Wow.
Although, another song that, I like songs now that I'm older that make you think. And I think there's probably maybe a Lisa song too, one that she likes. Possum Kingdom by Toadies. When you really understand what the song's actually about, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
I drunk yelled that at people the other night. Oh no. Who would have thought screaming "Do you want to die" at people wasn't about a fun, happy-go-lucky, time?
Yeah, yeah. All right, that's a stealth one. I like that. That's what we need to do. What movies, what songs are secretly horror? That's what we need. That's what we need to get into. That needs to be. There's a lot of those for sure. All right, Lisa, I have a question for you. Who would you cast in your own horror movie? That is a question that we got. Is it just a straight up McConaughey movie? I just got to preface that. Like what? Because normally you're getting no name actors, whatever. Like who's gonna appeal to you? If you could put them in a horror, like if you get Daniel Radcliffe in a horror movie, are you automatically in? Because of the Harry Potter stuff? Who would you? It just
depends what kind of horror movie we're doing. I mean, we're doing a psychological thriller. We're doing a slasher film, we're doing ghosts, paranormal.
They didn't say that.
Gotta pick
just said cast your horror movie. So you can make it. What
kind of horror movie would you make?
Yeah, what kind would you make? How about that? And then you cast it.
Because if it's McConaughey, I feel like he's best going to fit in some sort of supernatural, paranormal, I cast these demons out of here sort of role.
Would he be the Exorcist? Or would you have him like the Family Man?
I feel like he'd be the Family Man. I feel like if I was going to remake, what's the one with the house? With Ryan
Amityville
Reynolds.
Horror.
Amityville Horror.
Amityville
Yeah.
Horror.
Yeah. If you're gonna remake it again, he could be the dad. If you get Daniel Radcliffe, man.
It doesn't have to be. I was just, I don't, you get
No,
to pick.
but I would be thrilled to have Daniel Radcliffe. I just don't know.
Daniel
Well,
Radcliffe
he did
is
one though. He did one. Didn't he do Mitch? What was the one? The
Those
lady in the
horns.
window?
Oh yeah. No, Mama.
Oh, and horns.
Not Mama.
Woman in Black.
Woman in Black. Sorry.
Woman in Black. So I mean, he's done a couple already.
Yeah, Nikolai Costa Waldo did Mama. I was getting thrown off. Sorry, that was neither here nor there.
So who's the
It's
actress? Who's the actress you're pairing with Matthew McConaughey and Daniel Radcliffe? Daniel Radcliffe could also be the terrible, ineffective priest who gets a bunch of flies on his face, which would be hilarious, actually. Who's
So
the actor?
who would I put
what
with
actresses do you
McConaughey
like?
if we were
Exactly.
doing Amityville?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. That's a good question. So I really love Sigourney Weaver. I mean, you have to adjust for times now, right? Like adjust for ages, but who
Just put her in
now
the
would I
put her in the Irishman tech, and you'll be fine. Just de-age her,
know.
no problem.
That's a good question. I wish I had known we had that question. I would have thought about it harder before
Sorry about that.
episode. Nate, jeez.
Sorry about that.
Well, look, I think we have one last question. So, we'll ask this and we'll get to our review. What is the most disturbing horror movie you have ever seen? And, we do a two-part. The most disturbing horror movie we've watched as part of the show, and then just what's the most disturbing movie you've seen ever?
Ooh, for the show? Is it Poughkeepsie Tapes? That was like one of the more grimier ones.
Yeah, maybe.
That wasn't that long ago. Jesus. There's a lot of episodes. I think it's Poughkeepsie Tapes.
Yeah. That one's certainly up there. It's
The more
probably
real it becomes, the more gross.
Yeah.
Like The Suckling was a grimier movie.
Yeah, Suckling
But,
was up there.
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't like the Poughkeepsie Tapes was more like, oh, do I have
Yeah,
to keep watching this.
The People Beneath the Stairs, I think, up there as well.
Or down there, if you will.
Oh my god. Plus Basements. So I mean that checks all the boxes for me. What about you, Lisa?
Lisa, can I pitch
I don't
one
know.
for
There's
you?
so many creepy ones.
What's
Can
the one
I
that's
pitch one for you for one scene? Gerald's
What?
Game. Is Gerald's Game your least favorite scene
that's
of all
That's
time?
mine. That's God.
Which one?
Where he gets
Where she's-
sleeved.
Where she degloves her
Degloves.
own hand skin.
Ah,
Oh, you did
I
not
don't care.
care. I know Mitch hated it.
Doesn't
Ah.
nah.
That
That's a
didn't bother
Mitch
you.
thing.
Wow.
That's a Mitch
okay.
thing, not
Even I
me.
was kind of like, oh boy.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So now, Lisa, overall, like the most disturbing movie you've ever seen outside the podcast or within. I have a guess of what I think your answer is, but what would you say is the most disturbing?
I mean,
movie
you
you've
know, I hate The Ring.
ever seen? Yeah, that was my guess.
I don't like that one.
Yeah. What
At
about you?
all.
What about you, Nate?
I tried to watch Sallow, and I was like, nah, I can't do it. Do you guys know Sallow at all? No.
Man, no, I don't know that one.
It's in the Criterion Collection. Yeah, Sallow or 120 Days of Sodom. It's gross. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it. It was too much. There's a couple like high up ones, like a Serbian film.
Sure.
Sallow. There's like a couple in that category. Oof, that's a little too much for me. I'm not as much in the torture-y. Even a Hostel, I'm like, ugh, I guess I'll watch it, but I don't want to. But I will. But those other ones are just like, man, this is almost too real. Not a fan of this. So I would say Sallow, and then I got through. Once it started, it's like over a 2-hour movie, and I got in like maybe halfway. I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like this is not worth it.
It's
so I say Sallow.
Yeah, for me, it's probably between Audition and We Need to Talk About Kevin, because they're very disturbing and really upsetting for two very different reasons.
Sure.
Audition just a lot more visceral and the yeah, it's
Auditions in the Naturian collection.
I know it. I'm sure it is. But yeah, We Need to Talk About Kevin. It's just that's a hard to watch film. It's one of those ones like you'll watch it once, you're like, good, I've seen it. I never have to watch that again.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was fun.
Yeah, we really ended on like the worst note possible.
Yeah. Lisa, is there a song that was scary to you? I didn't even ask. I apologize. I think we were talking about myself. Is there a creepy music video or song that, you know?
I'm sure it's something you've made me watch.
Exactly.
I was gonna say, is the scariest music video you've ever seen? Not me showing you, but is it Everybody by Backstreet Boys? It's certainly the most Halloween.
Oh, I love that one.
It's certainly that's always on our Halloween playlist for Lisa.
I'm just worried my kid's gonna learn the song that never ends, so that's probably the scariest one for me.
Oh, I sing that to Damien every day.
No, really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
He sings along.
I don't want to get
in
that
song.
I don't want to get in that vicious cycle of the song never. Give me Baby Shark 1,000 times before you give me that one.
I disagree.
No.
I disagree. Because the thing about This Is a Song Never Ends is that if you listen to the original version, she is like low key, just like talking trash about the whole time. And so the fun thing about that song is if they do start singing it, you can just be like, no, we got to stop. Knock it out. You just like do it in the spaces and it makes it a lot more enjoyable. Yeah,
interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
That's the strategy. Baby Shark, you're just doing doot over and over again. There's no break. There's no solace. There's no.
You can do the voices for the different sharks.
Oh my god.
Anyway, let's get into this.
Yes,
movie.
thank you all very much for sending your questions. If you would like to send it, you can always call our hotline. I don't remember the number off the top of my head. Just look at our social media. We'll see we'll send it. What?
Loving it. Look, I'm gonna give the number. Hold on. I'm gonna give the number.
Yeah, like okay. I'm just here. But
the number is 346-246-3143. That is the number. Send your just insults to Mitch about not knowing the number. Just
like I start just with that. It up. Who knows their actual number? Honestly,
just put in numbers # Team Lisa, and that can be your only message, and just hang up. That's fine. Anything will do.
So look, anything else, you could always reach us at texaspodcastmassacre@gmail.com, Team XPod Massacre on Twitter, Texas Podcast Massacre, everywhere else. All right, without further ado, because we are running it tonight for 200. Let's get into this week's movie of the week, Troll 2.
You're late.
I'm sorry we had a small mishap.
Here are the keys. Here are ours.
Have a nice stay at Mailbag.
You in our city.
Still telling the same story, Josh?
Powers of evil are very strong here. I must leave.
Goblins don't exist. Goblins don't exist.
And remember,
They're eating her!
and then they're going to eat me. So dizzy.
Kids with a sweet tooth like yours love ice cream.
Delicious and purified.
the sacred power of the magic stone!
I need help, Grandpa!
No!
That is a trailer. I don't think anyone knows what it all happened, what the movie is about. There's nothing to tell you anything. That's we talk about different trailers, how it's like, oh, we like them when they like don't give you too much away. This movie gives both everything away, but it's so confusing that you have no idea what you're even looking at. Like, all right. Lisa, Troll 2, you finally watched it. What is this movie about?
I don't even know what to say. It
not
is
trolls.
About not trolls. Yeah, it's about goblins and them being purist vegetarians. I'm getting tired just thinking about this movie. And tricking humans, dirty meat-eating humans, into becoming food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah. But you miss so much in between the words, you know?
No.
The rich
I
tapestry of Troll 2.
Yeah. Nate, I mean, look, there's a documentary on this movie, and I strongly suggest if you have watched this film, first off, it'll be okay. With time and counseling, you'll get through this. But you should also watch the documentary. The documentary is fantastic. It's so good.
Documentary.
Honestly, it's worth watching that more than the actual movie.
That's false, but okay. Yeah. So I'll get into it in the stats.
But yeah, Nate, what can you tell us about this movie?
Yes, Troll 2 came out October 19th, 1990. Rated PG-13. It's on HBO Max. It's a tight or long 95 minutes, depending on who you ask. This is in the Neytiri collection. I have a European import copy of this movie, right? That includes the entirely unrelated movie Troll that came out in 1986, Troll 2, and it includes a first time ever on Blu-ray copy of Best Worst Movie, the documentary about this movie that was directed by the child star of the film, Michael Paul Stevenson, who's gone on to do a couple other films. So Troll 2, the gift that keeps on giving.
Someone check in on Nate's financial advisor, because he's probably about to jump. He's probably just about to jump off a building. It's just like,
it's like I lose money not getting 3 movies in one on a Troll 2 Blu-ray. Come on, if I don't do it, right? Okay, taglines on this one are just astounding, because again, there's a movie called Troll that came out, and we'll get into it later when I dig into some of these people. But those Italians just putting 2 at the end of things and trying to hook themselves onto unrelated franchises, like Zombie did. It was trying to be a Night of the Living Dead sequel that it was not. So there's that. Taglines for this one was not enough. Not related to the first one. Be afraid. Be twice as afraid. Not related to the first one. It horrifies you in your sleep and haunts you for life.
Lisa, is that accurate?
Did I sneak a text from Lisa into the taglines here? Maybe. There's nothing more frightening than a little boy's nightmare. ... until it turns real.
It's a little wordy, but it's not terrible. Yeah, it's
the original boogeyman is back. Were goblins the original boogeyman? I have no clue what that is. En el mundo de la fantasía y el misterio reinan los troll. That was the Mexican tagline. So there you go. Those
best one yet.
That's the best one yet. This movie made for a tight $65,000, and it shows. The majority of the actors came in to audition as extras and then ended up as the leads in the film. So they probably did not demand a whole lot of money. And the masks were all used from a previous film. and they all had like, no lips or anything like that. They were all just really fake, terrible masks. There was going to be a Troll 2 Part 2. They actually filmed a teaser for it where the lead character would go into Joshua would go into a McDonald's and then get a hamburger and then be disgusted by it and be a goblin. He was already planning for the sequel, Troll 2 Part 2. It's like what Hunger Games did, what Harry Potter did. Get that Part 2 on that last one. They were going for that move. Surprisingly, did not end up happening. Universally panned. Was a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes until, I don't know, a few years ago, and now it's up to like 6% or something. So it is considered one of the worst movies, which I disagree with, and ran a lot on HBO all the time at night. Classic HBO, always crush it. And now HBO Max has it, so it's come full circle. It's kind of one of those midnight movies. Kind of like The Room, at right about the same time as The Room actually really got some traction in terms of getting kind of like midnight showings happening. I know the rest in peace River Oaks Theater in Houston played Troll 2 in some midnight showings. I think I went to one and had other Rocky Horror, The Room, Hobo with a Shotgun, Gone with the Pope, etc. All those kind of movies, and it kind of hit that and got more popular. Obviously, had a documentary, and went from there. The director of the film, is quite a it's quite a person. The director of the film is Claudio Fragasso. Had to make sure I got that name right. Also known as Drake Floyd for this one. That's right. Don't worry. It gets better. You want to see some of the names that this guy's gone by? Normally he goes by Clyde Anderson. But in one movie he went by Clade Anderson.
Of course.
That was
I didn't know you could just put whatever name
you can put whatever you want. He was Clyde Ferguson for a while with a Y, sometimes an I, depends on which movie it was. He was also,
this guy did more than one movie.
Oliver Lafay. They got the French stuff for Mitch in there. Oh yeah, this guy, he wrote, he directed all over the place. Some of the movies he directed. Zombie 3 uncredited. I don't think that's related to even the others. I don't think Zombie 3 is related to the zombie that was the Night of the Living Dead sequel that was supposed to be happening. Monster Dog, Rats, Night of Terror, a lot of Italian named things. He's doing a movie called Karate Man that's in post-production for 2022. The premise for that is during the Karate World Championships, the protagonist, Claudio Del Falco, real person's name, that's actually the actor's name, loses the title fight against Stefano Maniscalco, who's also that person's real name, multiple world champion. At the end of the fight, Claudio falls into a coma due to the disease that has afflicted him since he was a child, diabetes. Thanks to the care of the medical staff, God. Claudio recovered. Beside him is Laura, the usual physiotherapist. Laura and Claudio live a tormented love story due to her ex-partner, Maurizio. Claudio leaves the hospital and begins a long path of physiotherapy rehabilitation under the care of Laura. This person definitely wrote his own summary, and this gives you the kind of idea of the screenplay writing that took place in this movie, because the whole entire crew of this film was basically it was a lot of Italian people filming in Utah, and the director did not allow the cast to change a word of the screenplay that he and his wife had written. Wow. So that's why you get some of these classic dialogue scenes. You got all these Utah people that are like, hey, maybe I can ad-lib a little bit or do some tweaks.
Well,
the dialogue to make it feel a little more natural. Absolutely not. The director would not allow that.
Look, he hired a bunch of scrubs. Okay, he didn't. It's like I don't trust. You don't get
to big time me. You don't get to big time me. Lead actor, one of the lead actors, George Hardy, who's a dentist. You don't get to big time me dentist. That's basically what happened in this movie. So the main actor in this, Joshua Waits in this, played by, again, Michael Paul Stevenson. He was in a couple of things. he was in 2 Encyclopedia Brown episodes. And the last thing he was in 2001, Touched by an Angel episode. So there's that. But he's directed
best
a documentary
actor in the whole movie.
The documentary Best Worst Movie in 2009. He directed. Again, also thing. He directed a documentary called American Scream about some towns in Massachusetts who are Halloween obsessed. Sounds like a Mitch special there. He directed a movie called Girlfriend's Day that was on Netflix featuring Bob Odenkirk. That's right. Stacy Keach in there. And the last movie he directed that I believe is it did come out. It just recently came out. Is it called Attack of the Murder Hornets? So it's about a crew of beekeepers and scientists protecting a Washington community from the dangerous invasive species of murder hornets. That's right. This guy's gone. He's gone from goblins to murder hornets. So there's that. George Hardy, who plays his father, Michael Waits, in the movie. I was coming up with titles for a potential Troll sequel just because that's who I am. And they kind of stole it. I didn't realize there was a movie called Under Control, aka Trolls World, that he was in last October. It is a German movie. And even an evil troll who was transformed into stone in the 15th century is accidentally brought back to life. The troll then kind of takes over the body of the main character, and hijinks ensue. And he is Michael Waits in that movie. That's right. He is the same character in Under Control. CONTROLL. That's a movie. He's in a movie that was supposed to be at Fantastic Fest, the digital one last year, called Cyst.
Okay.
Where he plays Dr. Guy. Haven't seen that one yet. Not sure where we can see that. I need to check that out. That also has Greg Sestero, Mark from The Room in it. That's right. They are the second and third build people of this.
Wow.
I mean, come on. What else can you even ask for at this point? Also, Darren Ewing, who plays Arnold in this film, is in there also. So they got the creme de la creme ensemble cast for Sis. So definitely on the lookout. He was in another movie in 2019 that's German called Goblin. Das ist echt Troll. This guy is just doing a lot of troll stuff. Germany is loving this dude, apparently. He played Sergeant Travis Delmore in the movie Texas Cotton, which was itself based on a short film called Texas Cotton, directed by the same guy who's doing Cyst, Tyler Russell. So this guy is still doing some work. He took a 17-year break from acting after Troll 2 to get back in the game with Street Team Massacre. And then since then, he's been in like a movie or two each year. He was in a future episode, Ghost Shark 2 Urban Jaws. Remember when we found all those shark movies when we did Santa Jaws? But his scenes were deleted, unfortunately. But he was in it. So there you go. So that's George Hardy. There's a lot of other actors and actresses that were in some things. I guess I would say Connie Young, who plays Holly, the older sister of Joshua, has been in a few things. She took some time off after Troll 2, which anyone would. She was also in a Touched by an Angel episode in 2001 for some reason. And then she has actually been in a few actual movies, a lot of Christmas movies, looks like religious movies. So she's actually still doing some stuff. So that's going okay. I want to talk about the music in this one, Mitch. The music was all done on a Casio keyboard.
It was.
And I figured you would appreciate that. One of the riffs in the movie was actually the default demo sound that comes from the keyboard itself.
Gosh.
This is some of the laziest soundtrack work. And they really go for it in some of these.
Do you know? Look, people just crap. I laugh at that because I think there was this famous story about the Prodigy's Firestarter is actually on whatever the synthesizer they used to make that song, Fire Start, was actually the name of a preset on one of their and that did that nice. That did that and they're like, cool. So they wrote a whole song called Fire Starter bass. So I'm not even gonna knock them for that.
Not gonna knock that.
The title, like the opening music slaps. I mean, it is.
It does.
Good. It is.
Well,
you can think the rest of the movie a little rougher, but
you can thank Carlo Maria Cordio.
Thank you, Carlo Maria Cordio.
There is a movie on this list this person composed from 1983 called 2020 Texas Gladiators that we must put on the list. I want to know what a 1983
Do you know what the word must
low-level Italian person thought 2020 Texas Gladiators were going to be. Very excited to see what that is. There's another. So Troll 2 is the top thing, and I'm looking at IMDb for this because I don't know a whole lot about Carlo Maria Cordio off the top of my head. And there's another movie called Shocking Dark, which the director of this movie worked on, and the poster for that just says Terminator 2 on it because it came out in 1989 before the actual Terminator 2. These people are just throwing twos on everything, and nothing matters, and they're just trying to cash in on everything possible. So there's that. I have a lot more to talk about. We'll get into it throughout the movie, but
haven't we already talked more about this movie than we ever needed to?
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get into it in the beginning, Lisa. All right, we'll get you through this here. Give me a character. What was the best character? Give me a best, and we'll start there. What was the
Joshua
character
was the best? Joshua was the best actor and character in this whole movie.
Oh, hard disagree.
Hard disagree. Oh,
come at me, bro.
Okay.
I thought Joshua was the best.
Tear down this child acting. Go, Mitch. what? No, I'm just kidding. This kid got stabbed through the chest with a pointy branch spike and had green liquid coming down his face. Pretty amazingly. I would say that was good acting.
Oh.
Who is the worst actor in this one, Lisa, for you? And this is there's a lot of contenders for this one. Crazy Eyes mom.
I don't know.
Sheriff Gene.
I honestly think it's the dad.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting.
For me, every line he delivered was just so weird.
Hey, you don't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it.
I won't allow it. No, come on. You got to be louder than that. Wow. Okay. But worse than the mom, who's Crazy Eyes. And at one point was like, Mitch. With the eyes open.
Yeah. Did she blink
intense.
at one?
She was okay.
She might never have blinked. The $65,000, there might have been $1,000 for Visine. She never blinked. I don't think it was possible for her.
Let me. Yeah.
Okay. So the dad. All right. So Mitch, same question. Best actor, worst actor. What do you got? Best actor, worst actor.
Was Credence.
Credence. Lenore Gielgud.
Yeah, she 100% committed to the vision of this crazy ass movie.
She committed hard.
You know. And she carries, I mean, when she's on screen, she commands your attention. There is no.
You just like the sexy corn revealing outfit. Come on, let's
no.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Jennifer Love Hewitt has got bumped down a notch.
Oh my God. No.
Oh my God.
It's episode 200. I got to bring up Jennifer Love Hewitt.
But the worst actor had to have been the kid that gets turned into a tree.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that, Arnold. I don't know about that at all,
bro. He's half turning into a tree. He's like, come on, man, we need to get out of here. Like flat, monotonous. You.
Oh my God! Come on! That's unbeatable. His yelling is amazing.
So I'll say this.
Wow. Okay. I hard disagree on that one.
Nate, he's just standing there watching them, going like, "But wait, what? But what are they doing? Oh no! Why won't they leave her alone? Like it's like, oh my God, kid."
And it's amazing that he can see like up over a second story lock. That's
Lisa, what are you trying to say?
I was trying to say I had to watch the first like 10 or 15 minutes of this with no sound because I didn't have my headphones with me and I was waiting.
Oh, that is wow.
But here's the thing. With no sound with subtitles, it's actually a much better movie.
Ooh, that is okay.
If you don't hear the way they deliver the lines, it's not so bad.
Wow, that is
believe it or not.
That is a take. Wow.
Because at the very beginning, when Grandpa Seth, before you find out, that he's dead, when he's reading the story, it's giving me Princess Bride vibes,
Yes, exactly. Yes.
And so I was like, okay, this isn't so bad. And then I was able to turn the sound on. I was like, oh, this is really bad.
It went from giving you Princess Bride vibes to fucking M. Night Shyamalan Sixth Sense vibes.
Exactly. The Sixth Princess. No, there is a quote I have to bring up. Grandpa Seth is like, he's talking about he hates goblins. Some goblin did something to him at some point. I don't know what happened. But he says the goblins ate the guy with a voracity that has no equal on Earth. That is part of a ghost bedtime story to his grandson. He was
just trying to prep him.
It was the start of quite a journey.
He was trying to prepare him for the worst, and the worst happened.
I don't know. The mom. So for me, best actor is the store owner, the store guy, because he was literally in and out of a mental hospital while he was filming the movie.
Really?
And drugstore owner, Don Packard, drugstore owner, and he nailed it. I don't think he was even acting. That's how good it was.
I was drinking some of the devil's drink over here. Some of that coffee.
That's the devil's drink. That guy was great. And the worst is the mom for me. The mom is just, I think her eyes might have been damaged. Like, I think something happened where her eyes could not close. It was like some sort of like LASIK gone wrong or Blasik or something.
You mean the really, really terrible rendition of Row, Row, Row Your Boat didn't endear you to her?
That Row, Row, Row Your Boat was an atrocity.
Sing
that song.
If I'm in that car,
sing this song I like.
I pull the e-brake. I don't care what the consequence that way. Do we cause like a 30-car pileup? I don't care. That I might just jump out the window. Like that mom singing was like off key, off rhythm, and crazy eyed in a way that is just not conducive to life. That's just my main complaint about her. She's not great, but there is what about Holly Waits? So Holly is like the spunky teenage character. She's got a lot of the one-liners, a lot of the zingers. What did you think about her? Were the kids the best? Was she the second best?
No.
Oh no. Okay.
Elliot's part of the family now, Mom.
Oh, okay. It's like, what? Her and the boyfriend were just something else. Although, Nate, I think you can appreciate he didn't want to leave his boys. You don't want to look. Don't go with someone's going to make you get rid of your friends. You need to find someone who can.
If I was 17 and this girl was like very into me, I would have ditched them so fast. Your head would have spun. I'm out of there. Peace. Don't hang out with your friends to come hang out with me on a weekend where we can be alone in the woods. Yeah, I might just never see those people again at that point. If I was a 17-year-old boy, Jesus Christ, that's my worst actor is Elliot. He was bad. Him and the mom, I think maybe a hard tie. Now speaking of
your mom made a good point though. The thing with her mom where she's like walking through the house, checking on the kids. And like she's just watching her daughter, just like
I like this,
just doing lifting the weights, and then just leaves, like just smiles and aren't you trying to tell them to go to bed? What?
How much weight is on this? I said 25 pounds total, including the bar. What do we think here? Was it?
I don't know. She
30
has
pounds.
She has the sweatiest neck I've ever seen.
Oh my God. I did not notice that at all.
They closed in on it. Look. Two things about this director. focuses a lot on necks.
There's-
Loves a good camera zoom in. Almost every scene is a zoom in.
I looked it up. So this movie came out in 1990. Wayne's World came out in 1992. Did they steal this gimmick with the extreme close up?
Maybe.
It's more influential than we thought. So speaking of Holly and Elliot, the Romeo or the Goblino and Juliet of this movie, I wrote out that scene for you guys, and I figured, episode 200, real treat for our listeners, for you guys, an actual couple in real life to act out just a small bit of this scene between Elliot and Holly, where he surprises her by climbing up the ladder, a la Clarissa Explains It All.
Don't you dare! You take Clarissa Explains It All out of your mouth.
I'm so sorry.
Take it out.
Man, look how that got her.
That got, wow. I will. Okay. So I'm so sorry about that. In a way worse Clarissa Explains It All. Way worse. Barely can even be the same. Actually, not even related. How about that?
Just get off Clarissa.
While she is lifting weights, surprises her. And I got the scene. I got the script from online because that's the thing that the internet allows you to have the whole script from Troll 2. And I would like it. And I think everyone would appreciate it if you guys could read out this scene. I'm going to go with Lisa as Holly and Mitch as Elliot, if that's okay with you guys.
Oh my God. Did I even listen to this scene? Jesus.
This is some of the snappy, with it 1990s US dialogue that these Italians came up with. So
Nate, are you friends?
I will be friends. Yes, I will be friends. Yeah.
All right.
So whenever you are ready.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh, God.
And now for this edition of Master Crap Theater.
And ready.
Elliot, what kind of idiotic joke is this? You scared the shit out of me.
Hey, I'm the victim of a nocturnal rapture. I have to release my lowest instincts with a woman. Oh, I'm getting
release your instincts in the bathroom.
Are you trying to turn me into a homo?
It wouldn't be too hard. If my father discovers you here, he'd cut off your little nuts and eat them. He can't stand you.
And you?
I like you, but my family doesn't like you. They say you spend way too much time with your friends.
Oh, but I swear I'd never see them.
How long is this going to take? We're sick of waiting. Won't you come to Tonino's, Holly, for some pizza? Hey, these are cute.
And scene. Well done.
No, what? No, there's more.
No, there's more? Oh my God, there's a second page of this? Oh God. Sorry, Holly. Back to you.
Do you see?
What's wrong with having friends?
Nothing if you want to remain a virgin for life. You take them to bed with you, and I don't believe in group sex.
Skip ahead.
Oh, Elliot, it will be wonderful. You and me in the woods. This time we'll be together for sure.
And my boys?
If you bring them, I never want to see you again.
Okay, I'm going now, and I'll tell them.
See you tomorrow morning?
At 8 on the dot.
Okay. Elliot?
Yeah.
Alone?
Of course.
And scene. That was, wow.
That was adequate.
There's a lot going on there. And then what's the next scene? Her crying because he never shows up. So this is just
immediate cut to it. Yeah.
A great star-crossed lovers in that he can't leave his friends for 1 second. There's a lot going on in this dialogue, and you can really tell the Italian influence on not knowing English really hitting that. And I'm gonna have to make a drop of Mitch saying, "Are you trying to turn me into a homo?" That I can just play on repeat every so often. So that was great for me. Hopefully,
this is an elaborate trap.
This was a trap, and you walked right into it. This was a corn cob with a bunch of green goo on it, and you just ate right in. That was a mistake for you.
Oh God!
Wow. So anyway, so that gives everyone an idea of what we're dealing with.
Can we? Let's just come into that, Nate. I I get that this is maybe I give it too much credit thinking it's some like thing about vegetarianism versus, eating meat. But if you had that much green shit on your food, don't you think someone would be like, man, there's a lot of green on that? Like most food doesn't have green on it.
It looks like someone put green frosting on a corn cob. That's no, thank you.
You remember when they tried to sell like purple ketchup and people like revolted?
Yes.
I
don't know. I mean, Lisa, I don't know. Did any of this food look appetizing to you? Because the whole trap is food. There is just food on food on food. There's cakes. There's corn cobs. There's like pastries. There's drinks like Kool-Aid, green Kool-Aid drinks. There's Nilbog milk. There's all kinds of things. Any of this look appealing to you at all? Would they have gotten you, Lisa?
Yeah.
They would have gotten you?
Yeah, I could 2 days with no food.
They're like, it's gluten free, and you're like, I'm in.
That's why you sent your belt buckle one extra notch to really help with those hunger pangs.
my favorite was so there's a bunch of food, and like my mom said, I'm really quoting my mom a lot in this episode. This is great. He pees on all the food in like a stop time thing. Like the grandpa is a ghost. Like knocks on the door. The ghost knocks on the door, no problem, or on the window, no problem. Then time stops. Then he pees on everything while everyone is frozen in time.
The grandpa's not a ghost. The grandpa's fucking Thanos, and he's got the time stone.
Yeah,
like he's over here. He just snaps, and everyone's.
And he can't take the goblins out on his own. This is lame. Anyway, he pees on everything. When the dad is carrying him upstairs, the mom just goes, "Please don't hit him." She just yells that as they're going up the stairs. This is great dialogue.
This grandfather, in and out, is just real and then dead, like inconsistently.
He's coming through random mirrors while Holly is practicing her cheerleading moves.
Know the layout.
Those are real cheerleading moves. She was a cheerleader at her high school, so those are real cheerleading moves. They don't seem like they're good ones, but they were real. So yeah, this grandpa's got like weird powers, but he's also terrible and ineffectual, but then powerful again, but then has to go away, but then is like physically there, handing his grandson Molotov cocktails all over the place. I
love that the grandpa,
like lightning bolts. There's all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Let's give it to the grandfather though, because the grandfather's the one that's like, "Hey, I got an idea. Let's fuck shit up. Here's a Molotov cocktail, and I'm gonna chop off this one's hand with an axe."
He really goes.
No one ever goes for a gun. There's like murderous creatures everywhere, and everyone's like, "Well, let me just run into this weird, creepy house and hide up in the upstairs."
Yeah, it's man, I don't know. What do you think about the grandpa, Lisa? The grandpa none of it made sense. What do you think about the grandpa?
I really liked Grandpa Seth.
Yes. All right.
That shitty grin every time he's like
F list.
He's just trying to help his grandson.
Yeah, he's like, what's below F? G list Rob Reiner is just kind of low-key crushing it as Grandpa Seth,
I just like how he's like,
he did great.
My daughter never listened to me in life. It's like, I'm pretty sure she fucking listened if you showed up from the dead chopping people's heads off. Like I think I
can only show up to Joshua because he's like mentally like compromised by my death. So
he's
only
like,
I can show up to him. Like, what is happening?
I've done nothing and I'm all out of ideas. Like
Now, okay. So there's just the whole family house swap. That's something that happens in this movie where they swap houses with goblins. They're in Salt Lake City and they're going to kind of rural Utah. And they swap houses just so they can live, like they can, get away from all the modern conveniences and all the Walkmans and whatnot that they were listening to, and really get into the country folk and get a family bond. I guess that was the thing. They trade houses with somebody. It's like a early Airbnb type thing. And they're in this house, and there's all this. There's like no food except the green goo, and they all gets peed on. There's no food in this place. So then they have to go to the drugstore, the general store. All they have is Nilbog milk. When you pour it out, it looks like white paint. It looks absolutely terrible. And when I watched it again, I was like, remember that Halloween party where you guys made Nilbog milk?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I could really go for some of that. What was in that, Mitch?
The Nilbog milk, it was some cocktail with like actual, like, it was kind of like almost like a what is it?
White Russian,
but with food
Okay.
coloring. I don't think it was an actual White Russian, but it was something similar.
Whenever I was watching this, I was like, okay, that looks gross. But I remember I had a really good Nilbog milk before. So highly recommend everyone try to make your own Nilbog milk cocktail because when you guys made it, it was delicious. So looking forward to that again. Sounds like Lisa's ready to make it again based on how much she loves this movie. So
I think it was like a milk. It was just a milk punch. I think that's what it was.
Okay. That sounds worse than
because it was rum. Yeah, it was
bad.
rum, sugar, milk, and vanilla. And then I put.
It doesn't sound good, but I trust me, guys. It is. It's great. Anyway, so there's that. But yeah, I mean, there's so they're in the country. They're in goblin territory. And how do you know they're goblins? Because you park on 125 North Street, which anyone in the country knows it's just 125 North. I grew up right here, 400 North. I grew up in the country. North Street for a one-road town makes no sense. Anyway, you look just right in the side mirror of a truck, and you see that Nilbog backward is dun, 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 Goblin. That's right. There's goblins. There's absolutely no trolls.
So Nate, when I watched this for the first time with you, it was maybe 2:30 in the morning, and I'd been drinking,
and I'd already seen it too.
I think we were sitting there, and as soon as we saw the sign for Nilbog, I think I said very loudly, "Is that just Goblin backwards?" And you just started laughing, and you could just hear a collective groan from everyone else that was watching the movie on the couch.
It was this laugh. It was the same laugh. Yeah, it was great.
Because I was in and out. It was not a great time to watch the movie.
It's a real.
I had to go back and I remember watching it with you and not remembering any of it, having to rewatch it the next day and going, "Oh God, I should have just not."
Yeah, you should not. This is the thing. You can't watch this movie. You can't watch this movie at like 9:30 in the morning or something, eating a bowl of cereal. You can't. This is not conducive. You got to watch this late at night. You got to have some drinks. Like this is the only way to really.
You really need to watch it with friends.
Which of course is what Lisa of course did not watch it in that way. So I apologize, Lisa. You had to watch it in a non-optimal setting, but that's really the true way to get the whole feeling. Of course, when I watched it was by myself because I'm an insane person, and I just found it randomly. So anyway, you're in Nilbog. The scenery is actually pretty nice. What do you think of the scenery, Lisa? Did you like? There's like some Utah mountains and stuff. What do you think?
The scenery was fine.
Would you go to Nilbog if you didn't know it was all goblins? Would you go there?
Yeah, probably.
Man, these goblins got you. You're gonna eat their food. They're gonna lure you in with like a cheap Airbnb. It's free.
For breakfast included.
Breakfast included. Mitch, you better be watching out on these. Just like double checks on these like vacation plans, just in case. I don't know, but yeah, the background. I mean, yeah, it's filmed in two small Utah towns. One of which has they actually did a Troll 2 day. Where they had the whole town decked out like Troll 2 and had a festivities and they screened the movie and everything. And it's kind of like the claim to fame for some of these like small towns because what else would they possibly have, right? So I think the director Claudio, he got the key to the city and everything. It's just absolutely bonkers. So I wrote, who did it better? The house swap. Was it this movie or Jack Black in The Holiday? That's a Lisa question.
I love The Holiday.
You love that? Oh, but did they do the swap better than Troll 2? I'm just kidding.
Well, yeah, jeez Louise. They didn't even go. He's like, aren't you supposed to be at my house? Our car broke down.
We had car trouble. No, you're giving them way too much. There's this. We had car trouble. Like that. No face movement at all.
How
like,
did he even
nothing.
get like? I feel like this dude just like found this through like some like spam email that he was like send out to random people. Like the dad seems like the kind of guy who genuinely wants to, who's like Michael Scott's like, hey, when the deposed Prince of Nigeria asks for your help, you help him. Okay. Like I feel like he just like, he got some spam email that's like, you've been selected for an exchange program. He's like, oh, sweet. I get to be a farmer. That's tight.
That's like, awesome. Wow.
At no point do we ever understand how this is the worst exchange program I've ever heard of.
Okay, so then we have two other components of this story. So her boyfriend misses their time that she was supposed to be at in a greatly acted scene by Lisa and Mitch, by the way, in which he's supposed to be there for their family trip. He does not show up, but somehow him and his three high school friends get an RV from somewhere and then follow them where they're supposed to go. All of these people have a variety of different terrible things happen to them. Yeah, that's terrible. One guy gets turned into a tree. The other guy has green sweat and just gets like straight ganked right in front of his other friend. The other one gets seduced with the sexiest corn cob ever in film. Can we agree on this? Is this the sexiest corn cob ever?
Probably the only one, so sure.
I wrote down the term cobnobbing in my notes. It felt wrong to write it, but oh, damn it, that's twice for every 100 episodes I get a
that's
drop
right.
like that. It felt wrong to write it, but it was actually extremely accurate. And then there's also, with that cobnobbing section, there's a witch who's like the head of the goblins.
She's the queen of the goblins.
She's the queen of the goblins. She's also in it. So there's a whole lot. There's a family. There's goblins. There's a queen of the goblins. There's side friends. There's a lot going on.
A rich
here.
tapestry of characters.
There's a whole unit, a troll verse. Not related to Troll World Tour, but a separate one. I think would be great.
So they eat the food, and then you get chlorophyll falling down your.
Well, Arnold finds like a random clothes barely hanging on woman running away from some goblins, and he just kind of rolls up to the goblins like, hey, you little twerps. I checked, there are goblins who are taller than him. This is a very small person. He's a very short actor. He might be like 5'4". And the goblins are actually taller than him. And spoiler alert, they still get away somehow, even though he got stabbed by a spear. And let me tell you this, there are horror elements and intense elements to this movie, and they come out of nowhere and they are surprisingly effective. Like when Joshua has that dream in the car where he gets stabbed through the chest, there's green shit rolling down his face.
Yeah.
Like the chlorophyll and whatever. I mean, the
effects and makeup are actually fairly decent.
The witch, when she dies, is like crazy face going full Nick Cage in Nick Cage acting like a standard movie, and he's just going 130%. Everyone else is doing 50%. I mean,
but we couldn't get realistic goblin masks.
No, they got the mask from another movie.
There were 3 or 4 times sizes too big.
Exactly. The goblins,
the burlap sack bodies with
it's genetic. It's genetic. Yeah, and then the goblins again, like I said, are taller than some of the actors, so it's it's a hodgepodge. But when Arnold becomes a tree and sees the other woman get when the lady that he's trying to rescue, who comes from out of nowhere, and she drinks the drink and she becomes just straight up, she just dissolves into kind of green chlorophyll mush that is the optimal food for trolls. That was freaky as shit. That was brutal. Did you agree on that, Lisa?
I mean,
those goblins just swallowed her up. I mean,
all of the kills in this are brutal.
They're surprisingly brutal. Yeah, it's not really bloody. It's more green. Like it's green goopy instead of blood, but it's still working. And again, PG-13. And then then the other friend gets turned into a tree and then gets chainsawed and sees his other friend destroyed in front of him. Great acting. He had a freaking like Bane mask on his face, Mitch, like a Bane tree mask. I don't even know how to describe it. And he has the classic scene. They ate her. Now they're going to eat me. Oh my God. Which is one of the greatest lines of all time. I think I looked at it as like 8 million YouTube views for like that quote from like 10, 12 years ago when it was posted. Yeah. It's fantastic. So there's that. And then Elliot ends up back with the family. I mean, do we want to talk about some of these goblin town folk? There's Sheriff Gene Freak.
Honestly, the town folk, I mean, they're just,
you don't care.
They're outside the Reverend and the general store owner. They're all just,
there's the Reverend, the drugstore owner, and the sheriff are the
only
three
thing with the
main
Reverend
people.
is like, how low was that ceiling in that church that kid is like staring down at them, and then all of a sudden he just straight reaches and like just full like face grabs them.
And the goblins also have terrible fire and brimstone preachers. Are they that different? Can't we get along? Can we not dissolve each other into green mush to eat? I mean, come on. I mean, let's work together here. I don't know. There was a lot going on.
I mean, the scene that always, there's really two classic scenes in this, right? We've talked about the, oh my God. But then there's also, I mean, goodness, the corn scene is just
Lisa.
Nothing. There's nothing else in movies anywhere near the what the
Lisa,
hell is this?
Can you give a synopsis of this scene to people who haven't seen this? There's the corn scene.
The witch or whatever we're calling her.
She gets hot.
Magically.
Yeah.
Okay, Nate, you tell the story.
Sorry. I was saying.
Keep it. Hey, keep it in your pants, Nate. In
my notes, I read, look, maybe it was only $65,000. Maybe they got like a Carmex. Maybe they got like a Carmex, advertising money. Because
I know, Nate. I know you're trying to release your lowest instincts.
God, that's terrible. Anyway, Lisa, go ahead. Describe this corn scene for us.
So she gets younger and seduces this guy with corn, and he says he likes popcorn. And so the most ridiculous amount of popcorn I've ever seen in my life fills up this RV.
Let's heat it up.
And that's about it.
She has a corn cup and she's using it like so sexually. Like, oh, this is just foreplay. Like your mouth is open on one side of the corn cob, which is probably not cooked. It's just raw, which is really gross.
Could you just imagine?
My mouth is on the other side of the corn cob, and this is attractive. And the guy's like, look, I'm 17. I'm barely wearing a shirt in the entire movie. I don't care.
Look, this is why I say
it's so hot. It pops into like 10,000 bags of popcorn.
This is why I say that she is the best actress of everyone on there. Because could you imagine, Nate? You're in this trailer, trying to pull this scene off with a dude yelling at you in Italian.
Yes,
while you're both eating a corn, a corn cob. I've got no words.
I don't know. What is the direction? Put your mouth on the corn. What do you say to that?
What kind of beautifully stupid mind comes up with that?
It's amazing. And the thing is, like, I think it was like the makeup person. I'm trying to remember what I read, but I think the makeup person was the only person on the Italian crew who knew English pretty well. That was the person who was actually giving the direction to the actors because they didn't speak Italian. Yeah. So imagine this makeup person's just like, chomp on the corn more, or like imagine that's the direction you're getting. You're like, I just wanted to be an extra, like in the background, like in some scene. Like, what is happening to me right now? The corn scene is just. Is
this where corn gets their name?
Probably. I would say yes. And I would say also, look, my omen, Lisa, my omen in the 200 episodes we've done is Halloween 3. When I first saw it, I was a little harsh on it, and now I'm coming back to it. And this movie is very similar. You got Stonehenge. When Stonehenge is involved, people are moving Stonehenge to rural Utah. They're moving it to from
Nate.
England to California. I mean, Stonehenge is problems for everybody.
What if we had a crossover movie, Troll 2?
That's
Halloween
exactly
3.
what I wrote in my notes. Yes,
My
yes,
God.
yes. The goblins start making toys, vegetarian toys. Exactly.
Well, no, when
That's
they wear the
what I wrote.
mask, it turns them into goop.
Oh shit, that's even better. And then they're just like rolling up, like, "Hey guys,
Like
we
that-
can transform."
that kid's-
goblins again.
That kid's head just straight up melts. It might as well turn into
Instead of
chlorophyll.
snakes, you just turn right into chlorophyll. Yeah, sorry. The rules are goblins can transform into people, but they have like a weird clover-shaped birthmark, or like weird, and it's not even clover-shaped. Every single one looks different and terrible and not part of their body at all, and so fake. But anyway, they can transform into people. So yeah, so they could be the people that are just kind of roaming around looking for people bought the masks and then eating them up. That would be amazing. But it's
Connell Cochran's the king of the goblins. Connell and Credence. Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes, that's amazing. Now don't forget though, it's not just Stonehenge. Hold on, I'm looking into my notes. It is it's not Stonehenge, it's the Stonehenge Magic Stone. That's right. They got stone twice because
it's like the keystone. It's like the keystone when you're making the arcs and stuff, right? It's the magic stone.
Exactly. That's it. That's exactly it. I said the hot witch looked like had a Stevie Nicks vibe. Anyone get a Stevie Nicks vibe from this?
Sure, Nate.
No one cares. God damn it.
I was too distracted by what was going on with the corn. Brain can only it's like the human brain can only like focus on like 3 things at a time. My brain solely 100% resources on this corn.
You were focused trying to figure out
what's going.
It was the classic follow the corn con, and Mitch was all in on it. And then I was saying the witch uses the TV kind of like Sadako from previous episodes, Sadako versus Kayako. Am I wrong? Am I wrong on this? Something pops up on your TV screen, a bunch of static, something pops up, all of a sudden she's right there in front of you. Anyway,
I mean, yeah, she's a lot's happened. The amount of just like bullshit power is just crazy.
Are we still talking about this scene?
We're
Can we
still
move
talking
on?
about this. I said, here's the rest of my notes. This romance is very corny. His sex life is popping. He's heating up. All right. That's
oh my God. All right. So
great. So then a bunch of random stuff happens, and then the end happens, and then we never talk about this movie again.
So yeah, let's get to the ending. So I mean, thanks to Grandpa, who is in and out of whatever, like
giving his grandson Molotov cocktails.
Yeah.
To throw at people.
They concentrate real hard, which I thought was really great because you know what helps me concentrate, Nate? A kid yelling "concentrate harder" at me. Really effective use of what am I even concentrating on, kid? You've told me nothing. But they defeat the witches. They all sort of explode randomly. The goblins, I mean.
The goblins, they explode with the power of love. So there's a seance. They get teleported to the Stonehenge Magic Stone, trademark pending. And then they all touch it with the power of good or love.
Goodness, yeah.
And that makes everyone die.
Which is presumptuous, right? Like, oh, we've got the power of goodness. Do you?
Do they?
Didn't you just piss on like all the food, kid? Like, I mean, it's
do they?
Something tells me it's not the first time that's happened.
Yeah, I don't know. It was I don't, and then also, you know, the savior of the movie. The crux of the movie, when the main character is about to die and get overrun by goblins, what is the saving grace of the movie? A double-decker bologna sandwich. I mean, you can't make this shit up. That literally saved his life and allowed the ending where they all touch the Stonehenge Magic Stone to happen. I mean, the bologna industry, maybe the bologna industry helped film this. Maybe it was Carmex and Big Bologna. Maybe that was
this movie had to have taken place in California or something. This could have taken place in Texas because there is no one who would have shown up to this place and been like, y'all just just vegetarian. Fuck this. I'm gonna go get some meat somewhere. You know, like, I'm going to the store.
I'll know that when
I'll travel an hour outside of town to go get me a steak and bring it back. Like,
so then, they kill all the goblins and then they go home, right? So they go home and they all get there and they're like, hey, I'm going to go take a shower. And Dad's like, I got to go to work. That's the first thing I'd be thinking about after my whole family was almost killed by goblins. And I learned goblins existed and almost got murdered by them numerous times. Yeah, let me go to work real quick. Check out work. What's going on? He leaves. They come back. They eat some apples or whatever, or something. What did they eat? Shit,
they ate apples. It was apples.
It was apples, right? It was apples. Okay. I don't know. I mean, I think I'm throwing out all my food. I'm buying all new food. That's what I'm going right to like a fast food place and just eating from there. Like I'm not going to trust. I'm going to be like a dictator. Like I think everything of food, like food could be poisoned by something.
Well, yeah, I'm getting a burger. I'm getting meat after.
I would eat almost exclusively meat, like animal products at that point. Like I don't know if I would, I'd be taking my time.
Double-decker bologna.
A double-decker bologna almost exclusively. I mean, you might, have like 10,000 times the sodium you need, but
my problem is I hate bologna so much that I don't know that I would have taken a bite to save myself in this.
What? Come on. Who cares?
No, it's gross. I hate bologna.
Anyway, the mom dissolves in the shower. Dissolves. But not before she's taken and her like whole kind of body outline is there and they are just munching on a dude's mom right in front of him, but not before they throw a softball down.
Not a fan of how that was worded, but go ahead.
Sorry.
At least they're just
yikes. Sorry about that. Oh, that would have been preferable.
Phrasing.
Anyway, they're eating the green goop that used to be his mom right in front of him on the table. They threw a softball down that said, "Your mom is yummy." Down before that, and then the goblins just like descend on him, and that's the end of the movie. I mean, what a twist ending. The goblins didn't all die from the Stonehenge magic stone. What did you think about the ending, Lisa? What, other than it was merciful, what else were you thinking? Like, quite a twist for me. I mean, wow, a lot of death right at the end too.
It was. The second she ate that apple, I was like, oh no, it's over. I kept waiting for the credits to roll, and when they didn't roll, I was like, no.
These guys are in trouble still.
This is not good.
Yeah.
And that ending really made me sad.
Because it was sad.
Like, Mommy.
And she's getting eaten right in front. I mean, I'm telling you, there's some brutal parts to this, man.
It's so sad.
It was, yeah. I thought it hit home a little.
Nate, do you think her eyes were still open the whole time too? Just
it was like probably made like well, it was kind of her body shape too. You still kind of saw like the shape and everything. Yeah, it was quite a man. They are voracious. They are voracious, and it knows no equal on earth. And I think I agree with Grandpa on that one. They really were eating her. So yeah, that's the end of the movie. We never got a Troll 2 Part 2. Apparently there's multiple German-based troll movies you can find if you need to scratch that itch.
If you need to scratch that itch, you need to contact a doctor or someone.
Yeah. So I guess the moral of the story is don't trust people who are vegetarian.
Yeah.
And actually the writer, the writing that happened in this film is because some of the friends of the writer, they had just become vegetarian recently and they were kind of adamant about it. So that's where that storyline initially came from.
Wow, that's
so that got turned into a whole rigmarole. That was not that. So yeah.
All right. Well, look.
Yeah.
We're almost 200 minutes for 200th episode.
Oh shit!
Not quite there. But look.
Okay. Good.
We can get there with our final cut.
Final cut.
I don't even know who wants to go first.
Lisa's got to go first.
All right, Lisa.
Why me?
I don't know.
Lisa's got to go.
That's like if there was a tagline for you, if there was a tagline for you in the show, it would be "Why me?" Probably like that. If you had to make your own tagline.
It's just why. That's just.
Yeah. All right. So what do we got? Positives and negatives. So what can you say anything positive at all?
I like the kid and I like Grandpa Seth.
Okay.
And that's about it. And I like the first 10 minutes on mute. And
yeah.
Other than that, I never ever.
Is it better than a Jack Frost, than a Thanksgiving, than a Tourist Trap? Is it, or is it in the same level? That's my main question.
It's the same level. It's the same level, really. And honestly, it's a little sad because I think they probably, in the right hands with someone who would have let them actually change the script, it wouldn't have been too bad. Like, the story overall isn't a terrible story, but there was just so many other things wrong. And
I can see Matthew McConaughey as the dad in this one.
Yeah, I could see it.
Really?
I could. Yeah, he could do a good job.
When I was
young. If you recast it with people that knew what they were doing and you let them change the script just a hair, I mean, the script wasn't even so terrible. It was just, like you said, Nate, they didn't let him change a word of it. So it just sounded so awkward.
You see
I've never heard the phrase.
That's hospitality.
Yeah. I've never heard the phrase good for nothing more in one movie. Like, they just really lean on that phrase a lot. It might be an Italian phrase. I don't know. All right. So what do you got though? What's
Oh man, I don't know. I'll probably give it a 2.
Oh, Troll 2.
It was between a 2 or a 3, but a 2, I think.
Okay. It's not suckling.
Because
it's above.
It's not suckling.
Okay, we got that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 sounds good.
It's hard to rate this movie
because
and I have to struggle. Am I rating this as the quality of the actual film or just how much I enjoy it? Because those are two different things.
It's your thing. Do what you want to
do. So yeah, I mean, this movie is terrible. It's so poorly acted. I think there's a seed of an idea there. I think with better direction, I think with you're right, Lisa, with more capable actors, this could have been at least an okay B film, more so than just the hot coverage. But then I wondered, would it have lost a lot of the charm that it has? Because, man, never in your life will you see more ridiculous shit than what's in this movie and the cast of people they found for this. I mean, it's like lightning in a bottle, and that it is so terrible, but it is so it's entertaining to watch. It's certainly one that you need to watch with friends. Watching it by yourself does not have the same. You don't get the same thing out of it. But that said, no,
you can watch it by yourself on mute. It's okay.
Yeah, there you go. But it's bad. It's not a good film. I'm giving this. Oh man, I want to give this movie 4 out of 10. I belt notches. I mean, I just.
Wow, you loved it,
right?
Wow.
I talked myself up to up from a 3.
Okay.
But it's a bad film, but it's enjoyable. So this is something that I would enjoy. But I guess when I say it's enjoyable, it's more enjoyable to make other people watch it. Not so much this is a movie I want to go watch for myself. And so that's the difference between when I rate like a bad movie that I would enjoy. Yeah. So anyway, yes. Stick with 4. I feel good about that.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna raise the average here a little bit. So this movie, I mean, I think this movie is like, it's poorly acted, it's poorly directed, it's poorly written, it's poorly Casio keyboarded for the music. But when you put it all together, it's greater than the sum of its parts. it's so bad that it's good. It might go back to bad again, but then it circles back to good a second time. It's that kind of a movie. I love it. I look, my rating is more along the lines of like, okay, how well was this made and how much do I want to watch it again? How well was this made? I think is surprisingly better than it should be. I think the horror elements kind of work well. And the story, like you guys said, is like a solid foundation, not directed super well. The director has been known to call the actors liars and dogs, blaming them for their bad performances rather than his directing and screenplay. There's a whole deal there. Clearly, I'm in the actor's side because, I mean, that dialogue is just a nightmare. And clearly the budget was almost nothing. And they were trying to go as extras and they got way in over their heads. But, for some, it kind of worked out. So, I think it worked out for everybody, but yeah, there's a hilarious kind of subplot there. I don't give a shit. I love this movie. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 hospitalities. That's right. I don't care.
I should have yelled.
It's better than every movie. I don't care. I love it. I can't give it more than that because it's absolutely catastrophic in some parts. But it's super enjoyable. Watch it with your friends. Watch it with your family. Make your mom watch it. Apparently that's what I do. So maybe try that, see what happens. Recommend maybe a drink or 2 or 5 or 10 to get it going. But I mean, look, you'll never, Lisa, say what you will, but you're never going to forget this movie. We've watched a lot of trash that I know has just gone in one ear and out the other. Like you've forgotten so many movies. Like I kind of have too, to be honest. You're never going to forget the corn scene. That's indelible. That is just, it's never going to go. I'm so sorry. It's never going to go away. It's just always going to.
And see, here's the funny thing. I feel like maybe I watched way more of this than or maybe I've seen bits and pieces over the years. Cause before watching it this time, I asked Mitch, I was like, wait, don't they turn into corn or something? And he's like, yeah, that's close-ish. So I must have remembered something. With the
corn, but you got both. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, this is one that's going to stick with you for a while. So anyway, 8 out of 10. This is a 3 on IMDb, and it is the second lowest movie we've ever done behind Birdemic. So there you go, Mitch. This Birdemic in the order. It's lower than Suckling. It's lower than Leprechaun. It's lower than Santa Jaws. It's lower than Thanksgiving. It's lower than everything. So
I think that's fair. I think that's where it belongs.
It's not lower than Thanksgiving for me, but
that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So that's going to wrap it up. That's going to wrap up our 200th episode.
200.
Thank you all so much for sticking with us. If you're an old listener, if you're a new listener, welcome. Join us for the journey to 400 and beyond.
And Lisa's going to be there the whole time because you said it in an offhanded comment, and we'll keep her to that.
That's
that
right.
Is chisel. Put it on the 10 Commandments, like start chiseling that stone. Like that
counts as a verbal agreement.
That is in.
And which is great because Lisa, you're not for the next month, starting off 201, 202, 203. You're not going to be the only unsuspecting victim. That's right. Nate is also an unsuspecting victim because it is time for Unsolved Mysteries. That's right. True crime horror films. I am so thrilled. This is, I've been dying.
You've been dying for this. You've been dying for this.
So we've got
how many John Wayne Gacy movies can we do? I'm like 0. But
so funny story. There's a John Wayne Gacy documentary on Peacock. And my mom has been using my account to watch Downton Abbey, and so she keeps asking. We were talking on the phone the other day. She goes, Mitch, can you hurry up and finish that documentary so it'll stop showing up?
Can you hurry up and get rid of the John Wayne Gacy shit so I can get to my Downton Abbey?
She's like, so it'll stop showing up on like the keep watching now. She's like, I don't want to see that. Can you finish it? So
Jesus.
So yes.
Wow. Okay. So we're gonna scratch that itch.
Well, the movie we've picked. So we'll make an announcement on what movies we're gonna do. There's some pretty mainstream ones. I think folks will. I think there's some pretty good ones. Certainly some interesting talk both on the true crime side and just the movies in general. So we won't get too deep into the actual crimes themselves, because I mean, frankly, there's about 800 other podcasts that go into those more details.
There are a lot.
We're gonna focus on
them. There are so many.
We're gonna focus on the movies, but they will be pretty well known movies. And we'll go from there.
I'm just gonna hand over the stats section to Mitch for these ones and just kind of slowly back away.
There you go.
Until I'm out of frame.
I know. It's gonna be fun. Nate, I think you're going to have a better time than you think you're going to.
I think I've seen one of the. I've only seen one of the movies. That is in.
And Lisa, I think these are, because they're more true crime, they tend to be more thriller based. So I think you might enjoy them a little bit better.
How much popcorn are we talking about though?
How much popcorn Lisa and I enjoy during a movie night is none of your damn business, Nate.
Wow. The connotations on that from this movie, I do not care to go into more detail.
If someone says, "Hey, don't worry, I'm bringing the popcorn," worry.
If someone says, "Don't worry, I'll bring the corn," oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Don't invite that person over. Just rescinded.
Nate got blocked for a month from our place for saying that.
I never said that, please. So the last about 50 some episodes, we have not been able to go to the movies. We went to the movies to see Mortal Kombat recently, and that was awesome. And we're looking forward to, man, I can't believe I'm saying this. We're gonna get some of the newer movies into the mix in the next couple months. I think this summer a lot of movies are coming out. We got your Conjurings, unfortunately, your Quiet Places, Spirals. You got you mentioned Candyman, Don't Breathe 2.
Yeah,
that's right. The blind guy's back. We got Malignant from James Wan. We got Halloween Kills. We got Antlers, which was the one that Mitch was most excited for. We were loving the Antlers, the Wendigo stuff. Last Night in Soho from Edgar Wright. All kinds of great movies that are actually coming out this year, and we are going to try to actually go to movies.
Yep,
which is crazy.
And try to actually get those kind of in line with when they come out. So if you need excuse, and for folks that still either you're not comfortable or maybe you're still not in the place where that's open, Texas is sort of like, yeah, fuck it, you're fine. Open it. Let's get it running. But most of these things are going to be like HBO Max. They'll be streaming somewhere too, so you'll be able to check them out. And still be
I feel like Conjuring is more of an HBO Max than a theater for me. But
right. So yes, very excited to start doing some new movies again.
Yes, finally,
and hopefully y'all are too. So once again, thank you all so much for tuning in. Keep hanging out with us. Keep talking with us. We love hanging out and hearing from y'all. The voicemail mailbox will be open indefinitely. We will try to get
we have some extras and we have some more questions, but we're going to spread them out a little bit across some of these episodes. So Unsolved Mysteries will solve some of the responses that you guys have got. So appreciate it. And give us those 5-star reviews on iTunes. I gotta pitch that iTunes Now podcast. Human Centipede no longer. Look, we're getting episode 200. We gotta switch it up. Gretel and Hansel. Mitch never wants to watch that movie again. It's worse than Human Centipede for him.
If you want to hear me just rage yell at Nate for an hour and a half,
I haven't seen it. I'm specifically waiting to see it, so I can't know anything about it. So we can't talk about it until someone gives us a 5-star review with Gretel and Hansel. Please give us the Gretel and Hansel review. Please do it. Come on, someone's got to be out there with the Gretel and Hansel pick. Anyway, look, Lisa's got some shot in front here. She's like, all right, look, I've had to watch all this garbage. Imagine Mitch watching a movie he doesn't want to watch. Lisa, how many movies do you think we've watched that Mitch has not wanted to watch? How many?
I don't know. Maybe like 1 or 2.
Exactly. This one is like just right there, ready for the pickings. So get us on that.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned later in the year. I have an idea.
Oh, we got some ideas
up my sleeve.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I'm scared.
Hope Floats coming to Texas Podcast Massacre.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
On that
the holiday.
While you were mitching, Let's do this.
God, on that note, that'll wrap it up for this week. From all of us here at Texas Podcast Massacre, thank you so much for tuning in. And just keep telling yourself, it's only a movie. Good night.